Hey guys, after 2 days of playing, which I've mainly played multiplayer of Black Ops 7, I think I'm ready to give a review. I have officially prestiged, and I have a few guns gold, and I've pretty much tried a bunch of different guns in the game, and a bunch of different game modes. So let's get into breaking it all down. So I'm basically going to go through the stuff that is good first, and then we'll get into the bad stuff. So the first thing up, and it's probably the best thing about the game, is of course, finally they've reverted their matchmaking to the classic matchmaking of pre-2019. So this means the matchmaking of the Black Ops 4 era, Black Ops 3, 2, potentially 1. There may be some differences between those games, but anything before 2019 is a true blessing. And you can definitely feel it after you play for extended periods of times, because you're going to get a mixed variety of lobbies. Some matches you're going to get absolutely destroyed, and some matches you are absolutely going to destroy. You can actually play in a group of friends in a party and actually have a good time together, which really hasn't been the case for years. This allows you to use a variety of weapons, and I've pretty much earned every single streak in the game already. So I'm going to try to flash a bunch of different matches on screen here, where you can see I was able to use the Swarm, the VTOL a bunch of times, the RAPS a bunch of times, a GI unit thing. And finally, like the main point of COD, the main goal in your matches is to try to earn streaks for some people. It's very heavily incentivized at least, and you can actually finally do that again. So it's safe to say we can actually look forward to Christmas noobs this year, I guess. And speaking of skill-based matchmaking, when you go to find a match, you basically want to stick to this open playlist here, and that's where you can have the best lobbies. Now, continuing along in the good, you can see that I have the Navy SEAL from Black Ops 2 here remastered, except they changed the face mask, unfortunately. Another thing in the good is if you look at the top of the camos menu here, you can see there's weapon prestige camos. And then if we tab over to universal, we can click prestige camos and see they have all the old school Black Ops 2 ones remade, and a lot of them look really good. You got Comics, Cherry Blossom, Cyborg. I think Carbon Fire looks really good. Bacon looks pretty decent too. But yeah, you get the idea. They have all these camos, including new ones to earn, just for prestiging your weapons. And that is another cool thing. You can prestige your weapons in this game, and ranking up your weapon is actually like faster than it's ever been before. And just to give you guys a reference, I hate Black Ops 6 multiplayer. I quit it like very early on and never played it again. But you can see they're leaning a lot into the Black Ops 2 stuff. You can see a bunch of remastered Black Ops 2 calling cards here. You can see the classic Domination one that we have, it's now animated, and a bunch of the other ones that are back from BO2 remade, which is actually refreshing to see, to be honest. The camo challenges this year also are actually pretty simple. Last year I think they were like 100 headshots and then a bunch of other stuff. Now you only need 80 headshots, at least talking about rifles at least. And then you do a couple other simple things and you get the gun gold. And continuing on the progression talk, which I do like, score streaks actually have overclocks. So if you use a score streak enough, a specific one, you can like level it up and unlock bonus abilities for it. So you can attach the streak to make it stronger, like harder to shoot down, give it extra rockets to fire, stuff like that, and it's really cool. You can even reduce the score cost of some of them. It's sort of reminiscent of Advanced Warfare streaks where you can like add on things to them, but it doesn't actually increase the score cost, which is really nice. But I guess it's also a double-edged sword, because this is also kind of a negative, because some of them like increase the durability of the UAV, so then it takes 2 rockets to shoot down the UAV, or the counter UAV, which will then take 3 rockets when it increases durability. So stuff like that can be a little annoying. And I will say this year it seems the game's pretty stable. I haven't had any crashes at all, though there is one thing that I will mention in the bad on this topic though. And another very minor thing for the good is if you actually go into private matches and you go to maps, you can actually find a green screen map. So if you need to like take screenshots or something, you can just boot up this map, and that's pretty cool that they've actually added that in. And if you didn't know, yes, there is a bunch of Black Ops 2 remastered maps in this game. There's only a few on launch, but from what I can tell, we're probably going to get like every base map of Black Ops 2 remastered eventually, like throughout the seasons, or at least most of them. So I will finish off this good section by saying, because of all this stuff, Call of Duty multiplayer in Black Ops 7 is actually addicting again. And I can't say that that's been the case for years now. I know a lot of people are writing off this game's multiplayer just because of its setting and how some of the stuff looks, and the campaign is terrible, don't get me wrong. But the multiplayer is probably the best we've had in the modern era. Talking about maps, the maps are all medium-sized specifically, and there's like pretty much no small maps and no tiny maps, so they've left that BO6 brain rot tiny map stuff behind, thankfully. But that now gets us into some of the bad stuff. There are no large maps in this game. Now that could be good or bad depending on how some people see it, but I think it's personally nice to have just a few large maps in the game. Think of Afghan, that's a large map and people still like it. And there's a bunch of large maps I can name from older COD games that are really cool. So it is unfortunate that they are just sticking strictly medium, but I know that's a good chunk of Call of Duty maps are mostly medium, so a lot of people will probably like that. Now, another thing that just sucks about this game, and they're never going to change it, probably, is its operator system and skins. So if you look here on my screen now, you can see that it's just a bunch of operators, and it's like random characters from different parts of the world for some reason, all a part of one team. And it's not like US versus Russia or MACV SOG versus the NVA. It's not the SEALs versus the Mercs from Black Ops 2. And pretty much the only skin in the game I care about is literally just the SEAL skin that you can only unlock by prestiging. But David Mason himself doesn't have too bad of other skins, at least. But I do miss the classic factions, having the announcers, the music, and having characters coordinated to the weapon you're using like the old games. But now they just care about skins, so it's all an amalgamation. You have zombies characters running around, a bunch of people in casual clothes, and it's just very strange. You can't really get immersed in the setting anymore. That's one of my main complaints, especially over the past few years, so that is a downside. Coming back around to performance, while I didn't have any physical crashing or issues like that, there was some server lag. In a bunch of matches I played, there would be occasional bursts of lag, like package bursts and stuff like that. That was a thing, even for me, who I normally never get that stuff. But I can forgive it for being, some of the first few days of launch, if they can sort that out soon enough. And another bad thing is that stim shots are pretty broken right now, I'd say. You could be in a gunfight with someone and then they can hit the stim shot mid-fight, and in like half a second, they have full health again. So I do think that needs a nerf, because it is pretty overpowered. And lastly, for the bad stuff, is sort of the slide shooting, you might say. So they carried over the Black Ops 6 movement, but they toned it down, way down, so it's a bit slower, you can't go as far in sliding and stuff like that, but it is still annoying when someone slides around a corner and shoots you in the face. I was losing so many gunfights in some of these sweatier matches I've played to people slide shooting that I started doing it back to them, and I eventually started winning gunfights again against them. But for the most part, I will say in most of the matches I play, there's not really many sliding going on. There's mainly just running and wall jumping, which people basically just use to traverse the map and climb up into windows. You'll never see anyone basically double jumping or wall jumping in a gunfight though. So yeah guys, that was my overview and review of the Black Ops 7 multiplayer. I think it's the best we've gotten in years. And potentially, we might not get another COD like this again, but we'll have to wait and see. If you're a big multiplayer COD fan, I highly recommend Black Ops 7. This is coming from someone who enjoyed Black Ops 3 multiplayer, did not really like Black Ops 4, and I love BO2, I love BO1, I love World at War, I love all those old games, and I've not really been too much of a fan of the newer ones, just for reference. But with all that said, hope you guys found this useful and help you determine if you should get this game or not. Let me know what you guys like or dislike about the multiplayer in the comments down below. And I will hopefully have a full zombies review tomorrow or the next day after I've fully done the Easter eggs and stuff like that. But honestly, I'm gonna finish this review and get back to playing some more BO7 multiplayer. So until next time guys, peace out.